Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Serving Community and Country. I'm your host, Master Sergeant Robert Haley. On today's show, we've got a couple of different stories to tell you about. We're going to tell you about the 112th Air Ambulance Company as they prepare for their deployment. And then later on in the show, we're going to tell you a little bit about a trip that our producer took along with some members of the 133rd Engineer Battalion to the historic town of Gettysburg. Once again, Maine citizen soldiers have answered the call of a grateful nation as the 112th Air Ambulance Company prepares to deploy.
Oh, it's a tremendous effort to deploy a unit of this size with this complex of equipment. Required 12 mill vans worth of equipment, as well as 5 pieces of rolling stock, in addition to 9 aircraft. Each and every piece being outfitted with radio frequency tags so they can be tracked by satellite wherever they go in the world in case something comes up missing. Logistically, it's a multi-million-dollar move.
For somebody who's not in the military, what would a mill van be?
A mill van is basically the type of rectangular container that you typically see on a flatbed truck hauling goods and cargo. It's designed so it can go onto a ship and be a watertight enclosure to protect your goods and cargo.
Oh, so we gotta go this way. No. We put 4, 55.
I provide guidance and marshal the unit in preparations for deployment, as well as basically I'm the lead trainer in the unit, in the sense that I set the guidance and provide the directive and supervise and ensure that training's done right and to standard.
You're the company commander?
Yes, I am.
Have you ever been on a deployment before? What is this deployment all about?
I have been on a deployment. I'm one of the probably 15 people in the leadership chain who were involved in the Desert Storm deployment in 1991 for 10 months. This deployment is in support of Operation Joint Forge in Bosnia-Herzegovina. We're part of rotation S-46, Stabilization Forces 6, and the purpose is to provide stability through military intervention in the Bosnian and Herzegovinian. Basically, we're keeping the Serbs and Muslims from attempting to go at each other.
Put that magazine on the ground. I know they allow it down the Wilson matches, but I got to check. I got to double check. This isn't ideal.
Sign.
We are the medevac support for S-46. That's basically the 10th Mountain Division is what constitutes S-46. We will provide medevac support for the entire theater. Okay, so the theater is broken up into 3 areas. There's a French sector, an English sector, and a U.S. sector, and we provide medevac support in all 3 sectors.
After completing their preparations, the unit was celebrated at a send-off ceremony in Bangor. Next stop, Fort Benning, Georgia. Mark Hoodler caught up with the unit at this location. It's here that final preparations and training will take place prior to their trip to Bosnia.
Look, you throw it at 12 so it can screen your movement, right? So you got to check the wind direction, you throw the smoke, and you allow the smoke to billow. You allow the smoke to billow so that it can create a screen so the sniper cannot see you. Huh? Now listen up. When you move your personnel, you will move them at 1 or 2 men at a time. Reason being is you don't want your whole team up moving at the same time. Everybody understand? So team leader, you can designate your personnel by numbers, 1 and 2 man, move. Huh? Or you can designate Billy Bob, John Bob, move. Huh? Oh, next man. 2 men at a time. I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. Okay, there you go. Let's go. I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. Once you get down there, Alpha team leader, everybody understand? But you're gonna move faster than this, huh? Okay, continue to move your people there.
Okay, 2 and 3.
I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. I'm up, he sees me, I'm down.
The searcher is a person that needs to be mechanically inclined. Their responsibility is conducting a thorough search of the interior and exterior of the vehicle. The escort is responsible for maintaining control of the cob until the searcher needs the cob during the search, and I'll demonstrate that to you in a few minutes. Also, the escort's responsibility is making sure they keep eyesight with the cob at all time, watching his facial movements and his gestures to ensure that he's not a potential threat to the force. On red, they point the weapon at the cob, keeping the trigger along the trigger well off the trigger, and the weapon remains on safe. Again, on red, what do? What are the 3 things you do? You stop the search, detain the cob, and you report.
This is the individual readiness training lanes for the it's part of phase 3 for the deployment to Bosnia. Well, this is to prepare the soldiers and the units that go to Bosnia to get them familiarized with what goes on in Bosnia. We teach a non-combat environment. This is more of a force protection type thing. So like the area I teach is it is the force protection lane, but it's all just to familiarize them with it so they can go over there in one piece and come home in one piece. Well, we do mine awareness. They do a media class, media relations class. They do vehicle search, personnel search, and we do the react indirect fire, reactions at halt, and react to sniper fire. You may not agree with it, and a lot of the folks that come here don't agree with it, but it's all theater specific. It's what General Clark had put down when it initially started, and that's what we go by. Until it changes, we go exactly by the way that it's stated in the instructions.
How do you think the soldiers react to this? I mean, they just came from their homes and they just left their wives. And now they've started this. What's the general reaction usually?
I would say it's a shock to most of them, and it's not just soldiers we get too. It's we get a lot of civilians. We get Red Cross, DoD personnel, DoD civilians, contractors that come through here. It's a shock to most of them, but they do quite well. I mean, they come through. Most of them come through with positive attitudes. They do really well coming through it. I think most of them actually wish that there was more time to do it, and there's really not. I mean, we have 2 days, and that's it, to push them through all this, and then we do a situational training exercise tomorrow, and that's where all this comes together out there.
Briefing for this morning for your lane. After that, there'll be some admin notes, some safety type stuff, and then we'll get right into business, all right? Once again, good morning. My name's Sergeant Roberts. Hope everybody remembers me from yesterday. Going to Force Protection Lane, you are on lane number 2. Your group has been tasked to move along Route Blue to set up a water point for any civilian soldiers in the city of T-34. All right. The route has been cleared of mines in the last 72 hours. Where's the squad leader?
Right, yes.
Okay. Sergeant, if you encounter anything unusual, anything at all, you need to report the situation to your higher headquarters. For this exercise, I will be your higher headquarters. My call sign will be Black 6. Your call sign will be Blue 6. So where's the team leaders? Now, this is something I do every week, and I'm going to ask everybody the same question, and I'll make a wager with you. When you hear a boom, no whistle but a boom, what does that indicate?
Freeze.
Okay, we'll see if that works. And if you're hearing a whistling and a boom, that's Let's see how many people remember that. Okay. You've got the next 30 minutes in which to rehearse. Current time is 07:30. We will kick off and land at 0800.
Too, when we're going through like our wedge formation and all that, you're going to be hollering the commands, but you're going to have to speak up so that everybody hears you. Once you hear that command, everybody repeats it. So that it goes right down the line.
There's a movement along a road, right? Then what happens at a halt? And you just literally go through it. What's going to happen at a halt?
Okay, let's do it.
I'm going to do this. And then the next thing is, okay, I've just come across this. What am I going to do? And each group literally just moves around the parking lot, more or less.
Let's do it.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about?
Okay, we encounter a cob. What do we do?
Halt.
Okay, so we're
When you say it.
Oh, that's
Call it right out.
That's whole.
Yeah, that's right. He went like this.
Yeah.
okay. So at this time we just want to go. So what are we going to do with the people that don't get down to the to detain him? What do they do? The people that's going to be left
1
there.
minute, they go down on
You
1
got to
minute.
get down and then you go into the prone. Okay.
Move out.
Okay, relay the hug in hand, the down signal hug. Thanks, guys.
Now, Steve, you want your trails walking back.
Hey, boys and girls.
Cameraman.
Ready for 3 o'clock.
Line up on line, guys.
Come on, Bravo.
Anybody? Okay, smoke's out. 2 at a time. Go ahead, move out.
First 2. Bravo team, first 2.
Parsons, move out. Okay, keep going, guys. Keep going. Line up on line.
Started moving down. We called a halt, or was that a freeze?
That was a halt. He should have really freeze because he's unsure of the wire.
I seen half gave freeze. I heard the voice command of halt. Everybody reacted correctly. We stopped up there in the corner. Why did we give that?
Because he,
I got wire wrapped around my.
which should have been freeze actually. but
Okay, you got wire wrapped around.
He thought it might have been. It should have been freeze.
You did the right thing. You moved forward, find out what was going on. Came back, gave everybody the command. Also, I believe it was you told everybody to go ahead and get down. Is that correct,
Yes.
Solomon? Okay, everybody got down. You gave the command to move out. Somebody in the back I heard say we got to do this alternate one at a time. Get up. Who was that? Who was it? Was you?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I said it.
Correct. Good call. Now, just because you're not a squad leader, team leader, doesn't mean you can't give input. All right.
Right.
Because these guys are no way going to remember everything from yesterday, and each person is going to have bits and pieces. So that's good. You give them a little hint. You know, hey, we need to do this.
Remember, do not stay. No go, no go.
Border?
So,
Get them to come out here.
I didn't even see it.
Yellow?
come here.
Yellow?
Come here.
Huh?
English, English.
Huh?
Speak English. Come here.
Border?
Now where's she going?
Yellow?
Stop.
Yellow?
Stop. Stop.
Border? Border? Border?
No, I'm totally
Yellow?
lost right now.
No.
When they split like that, do we get another security team to take care of that one?
Nobody's here.
Nobody's here.
Yellow? Border? 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 Mienya? Mienya? Mienya?
Stop.
Mienya? Mienya?
Stop.
Mienya? Mienya?
He's dead. So are you.
All right, let's talk about this. This is a very, very awkward situation. Can you encounter something like this?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Granted, they don't give you a whole lot of training for something like this. Ladies, what were your instructions?
To get them off the road if we could, if not to go in between them.
Okay, and what else?
To see how close we could get to them, and I touched both of those on the shoulder.
Okay, were you trying to get anything from them?
Yes, we tried to get food and water.
Okay, and will that happen to you all?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk. We approached the civilians on the battlefield. Interpreter, where was that? Who's the interpreter? Okay, that might be one problem right now. You got to identify each position, and everybody has to know what their job is. Observers, who was in control of the situation?
The women.
Okay. All right. 2 ladies took control of the situation from 4 soldiers with weapons. Okay. Now, what options did we have? What could we have done?
Should have went to the
Okay. Do we need to point the gun at them, though?
No.
Did they have any weapons?
No.
Were they threatening you in any manner?
No.
Okay.
With that mine.
Okay.
She picked up
If that was a
She
mine.
picked up a mine. What were you asking? Mines. They don't speak English. Hey, there's a deactivated mine over there. Maybe they've been told mines for food. So she's trying to give you mine. That's what she understood. All right. What should you have done whenever she picked the mine up and come to you? Backed up, say, put it down. Did you attempt to do that? No. What would you have done if he told you to do that?
Dropped it.
Okay. She put it down. You got it? All right. You got to maintain control of the situation.
Well, actually, we kind of expected that particular call, and we have ever since we got Blackhawks in. We've been flying Hueys for quite a number of years, but as soon as the Blackhawks showed up and we got trained on them, it became pretty evident that our time was near and we were going to be deployed soon.
And leaving your family at this point in your career, I mean, that must have been a difficult thing to do.
It's a very difficult thing anytime you have to leave your family for extended periods. And I miss them a great deal, but I do feel that the mission that we're going on is very, very worthwhile.
You're down at Fort Benning, Georgia right now. That's where we are. And what kind of training have they put you through here to prepare you to go to Bosnia?
It's been 2-part training. Basically, the first part's administration, check our financial records, our health records, make sure all our medical stuff's up to date. And the second part is country-specific training, dealing with things like security, mines, booby traps, handling civilians, handling checkpoints, and things we might be called upon to do in Bosnia.
Is this things that you've learned in the past and are refreshing, or is this brand new material?
Some of each. Some we learned years ago, and some of it's new. They just brought us up to speed.
Now, you're a mechanic. Is your job going to be more difficult to do in Bosnia, do you think?
No, it should be the same. I mean, it's, you know, we have, I believe, 41 vehicles to take care of. So, I mean, it shouldn't be any different than working back home.
You're, what, 2 or 3 days away from taking the big airplane trip over to Bosnia. How do you feel about that right now?
Well, in a way, I'd like to just get over there and get it over with so we can get back home, everybody get back home safe and all that. I mean, we all have a job to do, and we'll go over there and do it and do the best job we can.
Very excited and very enthusiastic about getting over there and getting the job done. We want soldiers to know if they're hurt in the battlefield or they're injured, when they hear our rotor blades coming, we're coming to get them home, get them back to a hospital, make them safe, and get them better.
I do think this is going to be a very positive deployment. I think this is a very worthwhile cause that we're going to do. I'm looking forward to doing a good job there, and I know we will. I'm part of a very, very professional, upbeat unit. I can't imagine going over with any better group of guys and women than I am right now.
Last report, the unit arrived safely in Bosnia and had already begun flight operation missions in support of the NATO mission. We'll keep you up to date with the goings-on of the 112th while they're deployed. Stick around, there's lots more to come on serving community and country.
When the heavens thunder, when the nation calls, you can make a difference and be a part of it all.
Find yourself in the Army National Guard, serving 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year, and you'll find an extra paycheck, money for college, and all the adventure you can handle. Call 1-800-GO-GUARD.
In the Army National Guard, you can.
What do these Americans have in common? Each used the GI Bill to reach educational goals and advance their careers. For over 50 years, the GI Bill has helped Americans. The GI Bill can provide the skills necessary to succeed. I ask all veterans to use your GI Bill. If you have questions concerning eligibility, call the VA National Hotline. The GI Bill. It sure made a difference for me.
times of need. All across the land, we're your friends and neighbors who lend a helping hand. When we were needed, we were there. Americans at their best. When we're needed, we'll be
Today, it takes big bucks to get through college, but one of the fastest ways through college is with the Army National Guard. You can serve in the Guard and complete 4 years of college at the same time. You'll get the Montgomery GI Bill, an extra paycheck, training, and adventure. Serve 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year. If you want to get through college quickly, call 1-800-GO-GUARD.
Army National Guard, you can.
Over 130 years ago, this nation was engaged in a bloody civil war. Many men from Maine played an integral part in that war, but the Battle of Gettysburg was unique for many reasons. The battle thought by many to be the defining moment of the Civil War, the high water mark for the Confederacy and the beginning of the end of the Civil War. 2 units fought against each other for control of a small hill called Little Round Top. These proud soldiers couldn't have imagined that over 130 years later, descendants of these 2 units would meet again on this same battlefield to learn more about their history and about each other. Chief Warrant Officer 2 Mark Hoodlet caught up with these folks in Gettysburg.
We started playing this about 18 months ago. We ran it by Colonel Todorico, the battalion commander at the time, and I put it into my training plan. And of course, you know, the first question always is, well, where are you going to get the money? And we had hoped that the state would find the money for us. And if that didn't happen, we had a backup plan that we were going to raise some money, some out-of-pocket expenses, and fortunately, we were able to have a very supportive state and battalion and group support, and we were able to come up with the money to make this thing come true.
The idea came from a phone call we received from National Guard Bureau from a colonel who had been in contact with Captain Dwayne Drummond, and he put us in contact through the email, and it started in early April, and emails, faxes, telephone calls, and that's basically where it began. After the initial contact with Captain Drummond, we started out with our battalion chain of command and up through the brigade and the state chain of command to see how they would receive us being able to come here and do a staff ride, a combined staff ride. And it was well received. It was just a matter of putting the right resources and the right people together to make it work. And that was a process in itself.
For the Confederate soldiers, if you read their letters, they wanted vengeance when they got into Pennsylvania, because they had seen what the Yankees had done in Virginia, and they said, we're going to get them. And Lee wouldn't let them do it, because Lee realized that if he allowed his soldiers any sort of a free rein in Pennsylvania, he would lose all control of his men, and discipline would go to hell.
I think, and in talking to those soldiers, particularly now that things are winding down, for the most part, I think that people really have an appreciation for a number of things. Firstly, the heritage that the 133rd holds with the 20th Maine. Everyone, I think, realized that there was that connection, but they really weren't familiar with what the 20th Maine did here and a number of other Maine units. I think that they had the opportunity to stand up in front of a group of people and to discuss some things that they found interesting after doing the research, and I was very pleased because they were very comfortable with the subject, and I did an excellent job. And also, we did this in a very short period, 3 days, and there wasn't a lot of time for standing around, and they learned that, you know, you've got to get on your task and do it and move on to the next one.
We wanted our senior NCOs, the ones who've been in the battalion for a long time, who've always heard about the 4th Alabama that they've been in, that they hold so dear, and the lineage to that, as well as some newer and younger soldiers. We have today with us, we have them from Private E1 to Lieutenant Colonel from our battalion. And I think the group we have is a great representation of those soldiers that needed to be here.
In August of '61, Colonel Berry began a campaign that would later result in the regiment being issued 54 caliber Austrian muskets instead of the smooth bore weapons issued previously. On 24 March '62, Colonel Berry was forced to resign the command of the 4th Maine. Colonel Berry was being promoted to Brigadier General. At this time, Major Walker assumed command.
I think that benefit is going to be seen for many years to come, with them hearing about what the 4th Alabama did as part of Law's Brigade through the years, and we wear the 4th Alabama tab, which was given to us by the Department of Heraldry many years ago. They're able to put this, not only hearing about it and reading about it, now they have it to be able to see it and understand a little bit more exactly what their ancestors went through, and be able to walk the same ground that they walked, to see. And I think this will help us in retention. I think it will help in recruiting, especially if we can continue to make this kind of thing happen.
Like I said, this is about the 6th time that I've been here. The first couple of times, I don't really think I understood the full meaning. I was obviously in awe of the ground and of the monuments and all, you know, the man-made things that are here now. And I think as I've returned here, and particularly now, when we have the opportunity to bring some of our soldiers here and to meet with the 1st and 167th, who holds the lineage to the 4th Alabama, it really has brought that true meaning of what happened back then and how far we've come since then. To stand there and know that the people that fought with such courage and bravery, and really not to fully understand how they could do that, it's a moving experience. Right now, I think we're going to be happy with what we've done here. We've talked to the 1st and 167th, and we would like to continue this relationship in some way. But who knows, a year from now, where we might be able to get an opportunity like this. And really, if it excites the troops and it provides good training, I'm willing to go most anywhere.
Soldiers of Charlie Company of the 133rd Engineer Battalion are extremely proud of their lineage to the 20th Maine and continue to learn the lessons from those courageous men that fought so long ago. Well, that's going to about do it for this episode of Serving Community and Country. As always, we welcome your ideas, your thoughts, your comment about a show that you've seen. So please, shoot an email to my very lonely producer at the address you see on your screen at this time. And on behalf of the Commissioner of the Department of Defense, Veterans and Emergency Management, Major General Earl Adams, and all the men and women serving proudly in your Maine Army National Guard, both here and abroad, I'm Master Sergeant Robert Haley. We'll see you next time on Serving Community and Country.